So our next highly anticipated keynote conversation examines crisis management in the digital age. Serving as moderator for this scandalous session is Julie Parker. Julie Parker has a unique media background, having served as both a TV news reporter, a talk show host, and as the media relations director for 2 large police departments in our area. She recently left the Fairfax County Police Department to go into the private consulting arena. Julie is a lecturer at the FBI National Academy and a subject matter expert with the Center for Homeland Defense and Security. Please welcome Julie Parker and CEO of Julie Parker Communications. Yay! I'm a big fan of this woman. And of course, joining Julie is someone you may know from just this little show called Scandal. I'm sure none of you have heard of it. Everyone's like, yes, we watch, we know. Judy Smith is the founder and president of Smith & Company, a leading strategic advisory firm with offices in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and New York. Over the last 25 years, Ms. Smith has brought her unique combination of communication skills, media savvy, legal, and political acumen to clients facing a wide array of issues and challenges. Her client list spans the globe in every category, from the Iran-Contra to Enron, Bill Clinton scandal to the 1991 Gulf War, General Petraeus CIA scandal to the Sony corruption hacking crisis. It also includes high-profile politicians, athletes, celebrities, Fortune 500 corporations, and entire countries. A former federal prosecutor, Ms. Smith also served in the White House as Deputy Press Secretary to President George H.W. Bush. Please join me in welcoming crisis management expert and the inspiration for the hugely popular show Scandal, the fixer, Judy Smith.
Good morning, everyone. Great to be here. This is such an honor. I have to give you a little inside scoop. So, one, Judy is fresh off a red eye. Fresh. She looks like this coming off the red eye from across the country. She's in the bathroom trying to get prepped, and there are people trying to pose for selfies with her in the bathroom. Of course they are.
Oh yeah, no, don't forget, where are those folks? I'm supposed to meet you after.
There they are.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll see you after.
And she was on the phone as she walked into the green room. So I just wanted to start this interview by asking, who exactly were you talking with and what about?
Oh, well, of course I'm going to tell everybody here. Of course I'm not telling you that.
I was trying not to lean in too far to get a piece of that. So I guess the first most obvious question is, in an age where crises unfold on social media like that, what would you say to organizations about how to avoid becoming the next viral sensation in a negative way?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in preparation, and I think people underestimate that, right? We do a lot of pre-crisis work and really going into companies and taking a look at what their weak spots are, where the risks are. And I think that's critical because studies show that if you at least have a plan, right, that you have a better than 80% chance of recovering from that crisis. And I think that's important.
What do most companies do wrong when it comes to the crisis is hit and now they have to do something? Where do they fail?
I think, first of all, they are not quick enough to react, right? I mean, you mentioned, which is so true, we live in this, crazy sort of digital world that we are in the information age. And when you look at, in particular with social media, when you look at the average time that companies respond to crisis, I think the longest we saw was 48 hours. Right? And then the soonest we saw was 5 hours. So when you think about it, in particular if it takes bad news that travels internationally less than 17 seconds, that means you start off at a deficit very, very quickly.
Because the narrative
set.
is already set without them.
Right.
So
That's right.
in your experience, what are they doing for 48 hours?
Well, I mean, as one knows, we have internal communications. Sometimes you have external, and then there's legal. And then a lot of times legal has outside counsel. And then you have human resource people sometimes involved, depending on what the crisis is. So it's a lot of people. Also, too, I think, one of the key things that you want to do is to make sure that you are prepared. A lot of people don't, when their crisis hits, it's not as if they have worked together and gone through, battles, and that's what practicing is for.
You mentioned the lawyers, and
Yes.
not to bash them, there probably aren't many in this room. Could you just...
Well, I'm one too, so I can imagine.
Could you just ever advise an organization, forget what the attorneys say and do what's right, and do what you think your community will want to hear from you? Is that
Well,
realistic?
I would hope that people would give advice to do what's right. Essentially, I think more and more the public is expecting a different level from companies, and certainly a different level from CEOs that head companies. So to me, it's no way that you can avoid the facts and the truth. It comes out. It's just my mom used to say this, and I said I wasn't going to say this, but really it's just a question of when. It's either now or later. So you can figure out when you're going to fess up to it, but it comes out.
So it's sort of like the pop the bubble mentality. Rather than slowly ripping off the Band-Aid, just pop the bubble. So when companies are afraid to do that, and when they're peeling off the Band-Aid, what would you say to them if you got called in as the Band-Aid just started to get ripped off?
I would say the best medicine, to your point, is just to lift the Band-Aid off, right? Because then you have what we probably all call is death by 1,000 cuts, right? So every single day there's something that's not favorable. And so why don't you just get it out and be done with it? I also think, too, that there's a level of appreciation that people have when you know that you made a mistake, just from a brand wise, right? Or you've done something wrong and you admit it and you own up to it and you apologize and you say, look, as a company we can do better. I think people appreciate when you make a mistake, when you own it and you embrace it, than trying to run from it.
For this crowd who is very aware of hashtags and the power of them, is there any advice you've given to companies when, for example, their hashtag has been taken over for negative purposes?
Well, I mean, as you know, that happens quite often now. I mean, look, the truth of the matter is, depending on when you get in front of it, you're not going to be able to change that. I think that you just have to engage in a level that you think that makes sense. But I don't think that ultimately you're not going to be able to change that. The other thing is, too, that I think in the age that we live in, you have to pick the best time to respond, right? And what's the best vehicle, because there's so many of them. How do you respond? I mean, I remember there was a CEO who apologized in like 15 Twitter posts. Now, clearly, that was not a good idea, right? It was hard to follow. And given the seriousness of the matter, I don't think I would have responded on Twitter. So you want to pick your medium too, I think. Yeah.
If the company's crisis erupts on social media, is your guidance to respond to it on social media or not necessarily?
It depends on what it is, right? I mean, if something erupts, I don't know, let's say it's a food company and they have a massive recall across the country because people are starting to get sick or die from it. I don't think I would post, so sorry about the, bad food on Twitter. I mean, you You wouldn't do that. It's just like with the response to a crisis. The response has to match the crisis. And I would say the same thing in terms of the level and where you communicate it.
If a client or a potential client comes to you and says, "This is my mess," have you ever turned them away? And if so, why?
Oh, we turned down a lot of business. I think, it's a very personal decision. I think you want to be able to, at least for me, I want to be able to help people and companies. I want to be able to sort of move the needle and accomplish their objective and goal. And if I don't feel like I can do that, then I won't take the business. And then there's just some things that, sort of have that. That's not really for me. It's not like it's 4 things that I look at to check. I just know it. It's one of those gut things.
On a personal note,
Yeah.
You're coming here, you're speaking to this crowd, and you're going, who knows where next? You're coming in from a red eye. How often do you take time for you? How often do you sleep?
Well, today, not a lot. My big thing today was in the, restroom, which I got help, thank you, ladies, is, putting under eye to cover the circles under your eye. But look, no, I think it's important. The thing that I do for me is I walk a lot. So yesterday when I was on the West Coast, we all walk to lunch. Usually I try to at least do about an hour a day or hour and a half a day.
You said you all. Who are you with?
She's so good, isn't she? So good, so good.
Like a little hint. So back to the crisis communications front. It seems, actually my husband said it's not it seems, it's actually true. Why do men screw up more than women?
All right, I'm going to actually put on my glasses so I can see. Oh, like men? Okay. Oh, that's right. Hubby, that's right. Okay. So how many men in the audience? Do you guys think you actually screw up more? Who said, oh, yes? You said yes? I'm going to come on down.
Oh, boy.
All right. Why do you think men screw up more than women?
I think women have a better sense of getting input from others. Men have a tendency to, I feel it in my gut, and that's a decision. And if the decision's wrong, they stick to it. And that's the problem.
Are women agreeing with that? What are we thinking? Yeah? Show of hands? Oh, see, now the women are afraid to raise their hands now.
Scientifically.
Oh.
I was just going to say, from a science perspective, it's been proven that we do have more social skills.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next question.
Regarding the show.
Yes.
It's a little popular thing out there. When it first came to you, hey, we'd like to build a show on ABC about your life, how does that play out?
Well, it's something I planned since I was 10. No, I mean, you don't. What I think what was good about it was that it gave people who knew nothing about knew nothing about crisis management some sense that profession actually existed, basically. There were a lot of things. I learned a lot about entertainment, which is, as you guys can see, I don't go to work looking like that every single day. That's just not, that is not a possible thing in my life. The team that we have is very good. It's small, it's senior. Let's see,
Red wine?
Red wine and popcorn all day long. Okay. That's actually true.
It is true.
That's true. White, favorite color, although this was the first thing I saw. I did not because, I was a lawyer, prosecutor, don't move dead bodies from crime scenes. There's a lot of that
Yeah,
going on the show.
that's
A lot
frowned
of that going on. But yeah, so.
Didn't you call the president to talk to him about the show?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those sort of,
Not this president.
no. It was just sort of one of those, crisis tips, which is that to the extent that you you want to try to control the narrative. And so, I mean, you guys probably know this, but I had called him because when I talked to some of the producers, they were talking about they wanted to have a relationship with the president. And I said, well, I know him, talk to him, we got a good relationship. And
This is George H.W.
yes, the dad, yeah. And then, we then had a discussion about a relationship meant like, relationship, which meant sex relationship. I'm like, oh, I need to make a call. So anyway, I called his chief of staff to say I need to talk to him. And she said, oh, he's so proud of you. He's so excited about the show. Can't wait to see it. I'm thinking, oh, God, none of that's good. I said, well, tell him to give me a call. Really need to talk to him. And so I was on the phone, and he left a message. I was on a conference call, and so a Texas number couldn't pick up. And he left a message, and he said something like, love you, want you, and you left me, and by the way, this is the former leader of the free world, call me. And I called him immediately. I said, see, dude, this is why I'm calling you now. Like, you cannot joke about this stuff. So he must have heard something. I said, you cannot joke about this. He said, look, I have young people in my office, and, they told me that, I've got to stay relevant, and, I'm like, you're a former president. I think you're going to be relevant, basically. And he said, no, press people call me. I said, please do not joke about this. I said, I'm going to send you some talking points. He said, do you remember that time? I said, there was no time. There's no memory. There's no time. And he said, no, I distinctly no. And I had to threaten him. I said, listen, I'm going to send these talking points. I said, if you don't use these points, I am going to call your boss. And he said, you wouldn't. I said, I will pick up the phone and call Barbara in a minute. In a second. So luckily he chose not to.
He listened?
Yeah.
Did you save that voicemail?
No. And why? So I can play it all here?
Yes. Going back to our main focus, because we want to allow time for audience questions. Companies that are doing it right, what are they doing that they're getting it right? And are more companies getting it right than getting it wrong?
That's a difficult question. Look, I think more companies now are aware of the landscape and the environment in which we all operate in, which means that things move at a faster pace, right? And I would say to all of you, I mean, just in terms of things to think about or thoughts or tips, I think one thing is that you want to be aware of the landscape or the backdrop in which a crisis occurs. I think that's important. I think the other thing is important is that you want to be swift in whatever, your reactions are going to be. And I think the third thing is that you don't want to be afraid to call it and make a decision. A lot of times the reason why people are talking about things is because someone's afraid to give some good solid advice and make a decision and go with it. And that should never hold you back.
Are there professions that are getting it right in general, broad stroke, education, fire departments, public safety, fashion?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a profession thing. I think that people just understand that things are, that things are moving faster. And you have to react. The thing that I would also say too as well, just to keep this in mind, that I also see people, making mistakes. And I think that sometimes in getting out there that we lose sight of the facts, which are important, right? So if you're going to say something or you're going to speak, you want to know what the facts are. I think that's important. And I think oftentimes as communicators, sometimes people overlook sort of what I call big operational issues that can have impact on what the particular crisis matter is. And so those are just sort of all things to think about.
Okay, we're going to do the unusual
What are we
thing.
gonna do?
We're going to let you roam the audience and you bring the microphone to the folks who want to ask you questions, and we
Well,
know
that's
there are
maybe-
plenty.
If they have any questions, you got
I think there might be some questions in the audience.
Okay, all right. See, good, I was so tired, I don't even have my Fitbit on. I could have gotten some steps. Yes, sir.
All right, I'll stand up.
Okay.
How you doing? My name is Brian Jefferson.
Oh my gosh, see?
Oh, we got notes.
You got notes? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. let's-
So you've made a career on giving advice and dissecting adversity.
Yeah.
That being said, I imagine you've wrestled with your own personal adversities. How do you interact with and manage your adversities and still do your job?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I take the advice that I give my clients. I tend to deal with things head on, right? So if there is a problem or issue I need to face just from my work, I know that it's not going to go away. Like a lot of times people tend not to address something, like you think that it's going to get better, like the problem is going to magically disappear, and generally it doesn't. So I tend to deal with it head on and pretty decisive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
She's
Judy,
so
if you can
cute.
just repeat the question, just 'cause-
Yeah, so
Yep,
people can hear.
That'd be great,
Okay,
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Hi. I did my master's dissertation on crisis comms and used Planned Parenthood as my case study. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yep. I used Planned Parenthood as my case study. And so they obviously have seen more than their fair share of crisis communications. What, in your opinion, has been the most pivotal or the most important, or what have you learned from most case that you've seen in your career in the last couple of years?
Let's see, what have I learned from most of the cases? I think whether you're dealing with a corporate entity or an individual, you have to meet people where they are, right? So if you have a CEO who has been asked to leave and you need to work out that exit strategy, but the CEO has not quite processed yet that he has to leave, right? I mean, you have to be able to meet a person where they are and move them to where you need them to be in order to effectively, I think, communicate. Yeah, that makes sense? Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, good, I'm gonna go over here. Stop, pause, I'm coming. Yes, that's all right.
Hi, my name is Lauren Davis. Nice to meet you. So it seems like lately headlines have been really extreme, and we all just kind of move, and we all just kind of move on, like we've become desensitized. So from your perspective, do you think, crisis management is changing because of that?
I think that crisis management was changing before that, honestly. It's just, things just move in such a rapid pace. I mean, you go on social media and somebody says something, and within a second, you've got 2 or 3 sides duking it out on Twitter, right? So I think it's just the nature overall of where society is. I don't see, it's almost like so the genie is out of the bottle. So I don't really know how you might roll that back. I don't see that. Yeah. All right, I'll take some questions as I'm making my way over here. Anybody have anything in this section?
You're getting your steps in now, Judy.
I know, it's
Yep.
great. It's great.
Hi. Hi, my name is Samantha Hughes. I work for Go Fish Digital, and I work on the reputation management team. For 2.5 years. And I've been doing reputation management for a little bit longer. So I think it's really interesting hearing you speak about crisis management. I have a question. What would your advice be for my clients who come to me and say, we couldn't jump in front of the issue quick enough, and now when you search my name, we see all of these negative results. What would be the quickest way that you would tell them to help kind of clean that up?
You know what? I actually have a question for you guys. That's a good question. How many believe there are a lot of services out there that say that they can push bad stuff down on the internet? Does anybody use those services? Heard of them? Does anybody here do it? Yeah? You do?
I've used them before.
Okay. All right, tell us how it works.
Well, so, it's all about content, right? So the more content you get out there on telling your story, the better it is overall. So I think, personalbrand.com does a great job of helping you kind of seed the good stuff over the bad stuff, but it's all about SEO. So I think it's just putting your story out there.
Right. So it makes it difficult, though. I've heard that, and I'm glad you explained that. It makes it difficult if you're in a situation where you don't really have a whole lot of personal content. Right? So if you are, it'd be different if you were perhaps a CEO of a company, right? And your company could put out announcements and announcements and announcements. But if you are an individual and your brand has been affected, that takes time. That takes time. So in our shop, I think we probably use 1 or 2 of them. But I tend to think that a slow build makes better sense, because it's not as if that nobody knows that people do that. So, yeah. Over here, yeah.
Sure. I have a quick question. Is it ever too late to call you?
It's never too late to call me. Now, I love, of course, when people call me prior to a crisis. That's always good. A lot too of what we're seeing, I think, I always say this, that a lot of times in companies, the crisis usually comes from culture, right? Okay, let me just get a little closer. I don't know if you got it. You're welcome. All right. Usually comes from culture. And so what we do a lot is go into a company and take a look at their culture and figure out, where things are sort of going to bubble up, and be able to have a plan ready for that. That just helps tremendously. So I love the pre-call, so we can get ready for it, because it's going to come. It's just a question of when. Yeah.
So I have a question. So I saw you graduated from American University. That's where I went to as well.
Another one. Yay.
So I just wanted to know, how did your law background, kind of transfer into you becoming a crisis management leader? How did that, come?
Well, I would like to say, and my life has been one of these crazy things. I wouldn't advise it to anyone, but it's just one of those things where it happened, right? I didn't have a plan or a strategy for it, but the legal, I think, has really helped, right? So that when I go into a company, and it's most of the time issues do get to legal at some point in time, there's a certain additional level of comfort that I think they have, because I am a lawyer. I understand usually what the issues are, and understand the lines that that you can't go across when you are getting ready to speak or make a statement. So I think it's helpful. We also work with a lot of attorneys across the country, and that's been good too. Yeah. No, don't think it's necessary. It's just been helpful for me. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, look, I think for me, the things that are important is that you want someone, I think, who is strategically smart. I think you want someone who, I tend to hire people that are not like me, because I think that you do yourself a disservice in that, because I want people that think differently and have different points of view so we can duke it out and argue it out and figure out what's the best path forward. I think that's important. And also people that are not afraid to make a decision. I mean, when people call us, they are asking for strategic advice and counsel. So you have to look at the facts, I mean, and you have to make a call and you have to give advice. I think, let's see, yesterday, I probably had 9 or 10 calls that I did that on yesterday. So you have to have that ability to be able to do that and convey that with a level of confidence so people will have trust in you. And that's important. Yeah. Yes, of course. Oh, but where are my bathroom ladies? Okay, I'm coming.
I was one of them.
Oh, you were one of the bathroom ladies?
Wait, we need the hashtag bathroom ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, see, forever they'll be known as I'll go with the restroom ladies, yes.
Hi, thank you for the very inspirational speech. My name is Mira Sohotra. Follow-up question. Do you have a sweet spot? What are your favorite customers? Do you take on just any business, or do you have a preference and take customers with specific characteristics?
Yeah, I don't have any favorites. But I would probably say the majority of our clients are corporations, probably about 80% of companies, yeah. Balcony, I don't know how to get up there to you, but I'll try to figure it out.
I think we have microphone attendants helping out,
In the
and so
balcony?
they will come up to you guys up there.
Balcony people, how are we doing up there? We're good? All right, somebody's coming up there to you.
Hey, Judy, when you have meetings with
Yes.
high-profile clients, let's say their name was like Brad or Angelina, just as an example.
Just throwing it out there, yes.
So when you meet with these anonymous clients, how do you stay anonymous, and where do you go to meet?
Okay, everybody, take this down, my secret meeting place.
Is a lot of your work on the phone?
Different locations. It is about the client, right? And about their particular issue or crisis. I don't think it's ever about the person that is, assisting them. There's sometimes when we get hired that the client wants people to know that they hired us, right? So that, the other side would be like, ooh, whatever that means, I don't know. But I think that you want to be as effective as you can, and in each case, you want to assess that. Like sometimes when I mention that, we work with lawyers. So sometimes the lawyer would put out the statement, and sometimes we might put out the statement, right? So it just depends. You got to make that assessment, yes. Is this more restroom ladies? Okay, yes, yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tanya Sharp, and I actually have my question written down. We understand that your client list is private, but is there a scandal that you were not hired to work on that you would have managed differently?
Oh my God, there's so many. Like I am the worst person ever to watch TV with. If something's coming on, I totally scream, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. Let's see. Oh, yes.
Did you see one?
No, yeah, it's an American Airlines one. Was it American Airlines when they dragged the...
United.
United? Mm-hmm. That was all very painful. It's painful to watch. I mean, for a whole host of reasons, right? And you know in this day and age that anytime you have a video, you are starting at a deficit, right? Because most of the people get their information from videos or the headlines, and maybe 2 sentences in, that's it. So, no, I don't think they did a great job, to say the least, with that. I think their messaging was not on point. I think that the apology was too late. I don't think it was authentic. And I think sometimes, as my mom used to say, people need to use good old common sense, right? And so no matter what policy you have, it's never okay to drag a passenger down an aisle and bloody him up. It's just, whatever the policy is, we need to escort you out. The people need to exercise some sort of judgment, yeah.
Judy,
so yeah, they got me all crazy.
You said you didn't like the messaging on that. One of the words that they used as they started to rip off the Band-Aid was...
Well, you know what? Yeah, and they tried it 2 or 3 times, right? The first messaging was something like that, you know, it was according to policy. Our policies say this. And then the second message was, well, you know, I only looked at the videotape 2 times or 3 times. After seeing it the 10th time, I now realize that my words didn't express my feelings, and, you know, come on now.
They talked about reaccommodating the passenger, which is not a normal word that anyone uses.
No, exactly. I mean, we talked a little bit about messaging, though, and that's a very valid point. The words that you choose have to resonate, right, with the audience that you're trying to reach. And so that totally didn't make sense, but people are like, what the heck is that? So, so you want to be careful of that. Yeah.
Upstairs?
Balcony. All right, I put my glasses on.
Hi there. My name is Angelique LeBlanc. I'm a PR manager with Cox Communications.
With who? Who are you with?
Cox Communications.
Cox. Okay, yeah.
And my question is, you seem very poised and calm and put together. How do you
ask my kids.
How do you keep your clients or the folks that you're working with calm when the ish hits the fan? Because, you know, everyone is losing their minds. They're like, we got to put out a statement. How do you, well, I guess, do you keep calm, and how do you keep calm? And then how do you instill that, that balance in others?
Well, thank you for the compliment. I think it's important because I think it's what people expect from communicators, right? If I'm going into a crisis situation, you have the CEO, you've got 2 communications people, 2 human resource people, 2 legal people, and then, you know, other people that are hanging on, and everybody's talking, and, you know that situation that you walk into, you have to be that, right? Because people are looking at you as that voice of authority. And so it's important, once again, of how you deliver your message. If you come in there and you say, well, you know, I think you could do this. That's one option. You might want to think about this. You know, it's another option. The third option may do this, but no, I'm thinking about it now. I think you should probably do one. That instills no confidence in anyone, right? It just doesn't. What I usually do is come in and give an assessment of the situation and say, based on the facts at hand, unless you have any additional facts, this is the course we need to take, and here's the reason why. And we need to get at it now. So you want to, it is about what you know, right? But it's also too about how you present that information, I think.
We are now in overtime. Judy, there's this glaring screen at me,
okay,
so we
well,
have time.
Can I take 1 or 2? Oh, do you have other things after me? I need to stop talking.
We have one more question.
Okay.
I'm being told one. The music's going to play us out.
Oh, the music.
There's the restroom lady over there, Judy.
Okay, I'll get a picture from the restroom lady while I'm answering a question up there. Okay. Okay, I'm listening. I'm multitasking.
Good morning. I'm
Good
Karita
morning.
Parks, a communications specialist with Fairfax County Government.
Uh-huh.
My question is, how has what has being a business owner and a crisis communications professional taught you about yourself?
You got it. Okay. First of all, I have to tell you that it's the best thing I've ever done. And the reason why is that it has given me a few reasons why. It's given me a tremendous sense of freedom, right, to run my business in a manner that I think is important. We have a really good culture, right, at the office, and so people don't have to leave work and say, oh, I've got a doctor's appointment, when you know that you're going to go see your kid play soccer or something, right? So we have a really good culture. It allowed me to raise my children in a way that I wanted to. I have the freedom to take business that's aligned with, things that I think that are important. And the other thing is, too, that when I first started, there was, which I probably should have, but there was no sort of plan or business plan or strategy. Just, my first big case was Monica Lewinsky, right? And so that just, okay, well, don't really have an office, but all right, let's go for it, right? And so, so what it did was it tested me. And in ways that if I didn't start my own business, I would not know all that I feel like I am capable of. Because there were so many people that said, there's nobody doing crisis. What is that, right? There's no women doing it. There's no one that has a company that's doing that. And it's not really a practical thing, and you probably shouldn't do that, Judy. And that was just what I needed. I said, okay, right. And then, I just kind of charged out there, basically.
I didn't think we would end this session on Monica Lewinsky, but we're going to bring Judy back up here. We're going to get a picture of the whole crowd with her in front, if we can find our awesome photographer, Jonathan, who's probably on the move somewhere. I hope he's not in the balcony.
Oh, where am I supposed to be?
Come on up here. Or you could stay there. We just need Jonathan.
Okay.
Is he on the move?
1 second.
We could probably sneak in one more question while we're getting Jonathan. Someone yell. Oh, God.
No, I don't need a mic. Can you hear me? Yes, all right, go for it. My question is, what is that? The previous panels talked about innovation. What digital age innovation is scaring you as you look at your crisis management business?
Ooh, that's a good question. I tell you what's scaring me is that people can't tell fact from fiction, right? And so it was a matter that we were involved in. This was maybe a year ago, and it was just one of those things. Oh, thank you. Where I was looking at social media, and I said, that's kind of trending too fast, right? It went from, I'm making up like 10 to 500,000, and it was just spiking too fast. And so when I got our team to check on it, it was because the other side, after we tracked it down, had hired 2 bot companies to tweet. So that's how they went from 0 to 3 million in all of, 5 minutes, basically. And so that gives people a false sense of a conversation, right? And where things are and who's on this side and who's on that side. So that gives me pause. I mean, I'm always skeptical. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so he's going to tell us what to do.
Okay.
What are we doing up here?
Oh, how do you do it that way?
He's good like that.
Okay, what are we doing?
We're just going to stand. We're looking at him. We're looking at him.
Oh, get it in the back. I made him small. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, you should put it up on the screen so you guys can see it.
Of course.
Yes.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Judy Smith, thank you. Julie Parker, thank you, ladies, so much.